So here's the radio, and you see the front dial. Um, you see the case. It's, I don't know, this looks 1/4 inch. That looks, I don't know, I could measure it, but it looks maybe 1/2 inch. This thing is 19 inches long, and it's about 8 inches front to back and almost 8 inches tall. And you can see these, sorry, you can see these little connection uh, pins, turrets there, whatever you want to call them. Binding posts is what they are. And a wire can go in there and get screwed down. But all this stuff needs to be cleaned. Here you can kind of see through this thing, which is good, because in those days, you would look through here and see the tube. There's the tube socket right there. This one has a little keyway, and I don't think my tubes have are the versions with the little tit on them that goes in and bayonet locks, but I think there's things you can do. There may be just enough friction for it to work with the tube kind of pushed in there. And you can see there's sort of a spring. Sorry about being in my own shadow. There's sort of a springiness to these guys. Again, we'll clean them so the tube will touch in there. This thing is it kind of looks like a fuse holder, but these things ran off of batteries, maybe 45 volts or 67.5 volts or whatever. You'd put a bunch of 9-volters together, and and then you'd have maybe even 4 D batteries for the filament. And at any rate, this is called a grid bias, and the fact that there's no wire hooked up to the other side is highly suspect. This is that funky coil thing, and you can see that this sort of sphere, turns inside this wood block thing, which is kind of nicely made. I don't know if he made it himself. You can see the way it's put together, and there's a coil wound inside this thing. There's screws on there, and we can take that apart and everything. All this stuff has got to be disassembled, and I'll have to work on cleaning it. I think I could use some, maybe like the citric acid thing or lemon, kind of thing. We certainly don't want to use any cleaners with a lot of gumption on them. Case is not too bad. Guy did an okay job. Looks like it got wet. Maybe never finish this thing. This thing is a rheostat. It'll need cleaning. Oh God, yeah. It'll need cleaning to get it working properly, or maybe you have to replace it. But that's used on the filament of the tube, so that you have batteries which are a little more voltage than you need, and then as the batteries get old, you turn down the resistance so that the tube will keep glowing and working. And so what this thing is, there's a coil, a capacitor that they tune stations between them. And this guy, this is not one of those fancy regenerative sets where energy comes back into the coil and does all that, although we could eventually make it that. This is just an amplifier and detector. So tune the station, detect it, boost it a little bit, and then these ratty things here are some kind of earphones, magnetic earphones. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You can see that the top of the case does its warping a little bit, but this thing is, I don't know. If I had built this thing, I'd be proud of it, But everything's got to get cleansed, and some of the guys on YouTube show how to do that. Anyway, I'm closing in on 5 minutes here. I think I mentioned the dimensions: 19 long, 8, a little less than 8 high, and about 8 deep. And I think this is just pine boards that he got. This front panel looks like a 1/4 inch to me. Whoops, sorry. And Here we go. No. Yeah, that's a, where am I? There I am. That's a 1/4 inch. This top thing is papers. That's closing in on 1/2 inch there. And then these pieces, now they look like either a 1/2 or close to it. So anyway, but to run one of these radios, we're going to want to get away from electrical noise. So maybe up in Maine, or we drive out to a country setting and just run this with some batteries. Some of these tubes don't need hundreds of volts. Some of them only need 40, between 45 and 90 volts. There we go, 6 minutes. I think I better shut up. We'll see you later. Bye.